Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part 79 of ASP.NET MVC tutorial. In this video, we will discuss areas in MVC. When we create a new ASP.NET MVC application, we get model, views, and controllers folders. Let us go to the Visual Studio 2022. How to create the project in MVC. Let me show you. But before that, see the full slide here. Okay guys, let me show you how to create project in Visual Studio MVC project. Okay, go to the start. Where is the Visual Studio? I'm using Visual Studio 2022. Okay, so create a new project. Select ASP.NET Web Application. So you need to choose this one, C#. So select this. Click this. And name your project MVC demo. And choose the folder where you want to save your project. So go to desktop, and I have the folder to select. Where is the folder? This one is my folder. Select the folder and now create it. And we want to create MVC project. So it is creating our project. Give it few seconds to create our project. As you can see, it is taking time in creating the project. Wait till it creates the project. Okay, you need to delete some auto-generated file or folder there. So go to solution. Here you can see content. You don't need to do anything to this folder. In controller, you need to delete this one. Click OK. And in view, you need to delete this home folder also. Delete both of these. And delete this also because it is unwanted. Okay. Now what you need to do. So let me first tell you, we get models, views, and controllers. These three folders, and notice that these folders are present. These folders are present within the root directory of the project. Now this structure of the project is fine for simple applications. But our application, but as our application but as our application get bigger and complex, maintaining our model, views, and controllers can get complicated. The structure of such complex ASP.NET MVC application can be very easily maintained using areas. Let's understand that with an example. Let's assume we are building a job portal site. And it is common for a typical job portal to have the areas that you can see here. It can have employee area, and maybe this functional area allows a job seeker to create their profile, upload resume, and perform job. And perform job search. And there could be employer area. And there could be employee area, and this functional area allows a job provider or an employer to create their profile, upload jobs, and search for suitable candidates. And in a similar fashion, we could have administrator area. We could have administrator area, and this functional area allows an administrators to configure the site and maintain it. Let's flip to Visual Studio. So where is the Visual Studio? Here it is. And let's create these areas. Creating the area itself is very straightforward. All you need to do is right click on the project name, add. Do you see any option like area here? No. Why? Because we are using Visual Studio 2022. While in the previous edition of Visual Studio 2013, we have direct options here, area. But in this 2022, we have no such options area directly here. So what we need to do, we need to new scaffold item. Click this new scaffold item, and here it is. Where is the area? It is here. Okay, guys. So click this MVC5 area. And name your area a meaningful name. Let's add employee, add. This will generate area for, and look at that, the moment I do that, there is a folder called areas created. So where is the folder? Here it is. Okay. There is slight different in this, that instead of model, this is the data folder. You can rename it as model if you want to do so. Otherwise, keep it as it is. Okay, and within that employee folder, we have a set of views, controllers, and data. You can name it as model if you want to do so. So I am giving it, rename it as, I am renaming it as models. Okay. So there is inside the employee folder, we have a set of models, view, and controllers. Let's add another area. So I can right click. So right click, add area. Go to MVC, click area. And name it as employer. So click add. And look at that employer folder. Where is the employer folder? Here it is, employer folder. Again, rename it as model. And have another set of, in this we have another set of models, controller, and views. Similarly, I can add another area, maybe admin area. Okay, so right click on area folder. Here is the area. Go to MVC and name it as admin. Click add. Okay. Look at that. There are three folders. There are three folders. Rename it as models. Look at, there are three folders: admin, employee, and employers, all present in area folders. And then each folder has got their own set of models, views, and controller. And look at that, within each folder there is also a file called AreaRegistration.cs file. Admin admin folder, in admin folder it is named as admin area registration. In employee folder it is named as employee area registration. And in employer it is named as employer area registration.cs file. Okay, now if you look at the code inside this file, means in this admin area registration.cs file, basically this is the code to register routes. Basically this is the code to register routes for this area. For this area. Look at that, anybody who wants to invoke URLs within this area, they will use this admin word. They will use this admin word. This admin word, this. Okay, means if somebody want to invoke URL within this area, they will use this admin word / and then the name of the controller, name of the action, method, and any parameter. This is any parameter that they want to pass. Similarly for employee area, they use employee / and then the name of the controller, action, method, actions, and parameters. Okay, so we have several areas here. Here, when the application starts up. Okay, so we have several area here, and to register all these areas, when the application starts up within global.ax file, where is the global.ax file? Look at that, we have application _ start event handler. So this gets so this gets invoked when the application starts. And look at this, we have method, called to register all areas, which is going to register all these areas. which is going to register all these areas, at the start of the application. All right. Now let's go ahead and add a controller first to of all. Let's add a controller, in the root directory. So here we need to add a controller in the root directory and name it as home controller. So we have added a home controller to the main area that is present within the root directory. Okay. So notice that we have an index method here there. So notice that we have index method there. And similarly, let's go ahead and add a controller to admin area. So go to admin. Where is the admin? Add a controller and give it name as home controller. Similarly, let's add a controller to the employee. Go to employee. Add a controller. Name it as this home controller for employee. So here it is, the employee home controller. And similarly for last one, the employer. Add controller MVC5 controller empty. Name it as home. Click OK. Okay, we have created home controller for each area. Okay. So we have home controller in each folder. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add respective views as well. So let's go to the controller, the home controller that is present in main area. And let's add a view. So go to the main area. In this home controller. And let's add views as well. So go to the controller, the home controller that is present in main area, and let's add a view. How to add a view? Put the cursor at index method and add view. This is the MVC5 view. Keep the name as it is, not as it is. Let me Let's call it index view. Okay, keep it as it is. And click add. So this should be added to the home folder. So this should be added to the home folder. This one. Okay. This should be added to the home folder within the main area, and let's change this HTML there. First of all, delete this one. And change this HTML there. Let's say S2 main area home page, so that we know we are on the main area. So that we know we are on the main area home page. Main area home page. And similarly, go to admin area. Go to admin area home controller. Where is the admin area home controller? This one. And add in index view. Add in index view. Add view. Keep the name as it is. Add. So that should be added to the home folder. So that should be added in the home folder. Within views, within admin area. So that is the view created here. And let's change this HTML. First of all, need to delete this one. And name it as admin area homepage. Let's call it homepage. Okay. So that we know we are on the admin area homepage. And similarly, let's do the same thing within the home controller in employer area as well as in employee area and employer area. So go one by one. So create view, create, add, delete this one, employee, employee area home page. And it is created in the within the views folder of the employee folders. Here it is. Okay, now go to the employer folder and create its view. Same thing is to be done to this. Add view, MVC5, add, delete this one, this portion, and name it as employer area, employer area home page. Okay. So we have created all the views for each each areas. Okay, so let's go ahead and build our solution. You can build the solution by pressing Control B, but we go to the folder structure, and here it is. Right click here and build solution. One thing is also needed here, because we need to make this project as a root directory. So how to make it a root directory? Copy this and go to the property. Where is the property? Where is the, okay, in web. Okay, here, paste it here. Okay, create a virtual directory here. The virtual directory was created successfully. Okay, so go back and again build the solution. Build succeeded. Okay, now let's go to the browser, or let's fire up the browser. So which browser you are going to fire up? Google Chrome. Where is the Google Chrome? Here it is. Fire up. This one is the, okay. Now, and let's navigate to localhost MVC demo. Localhost, this is my port number. Without this, I can't reach to this MVC demo. Okay. Look at that. I am not specifying. I am at the root of my project. I am at the root of my project. Localhost is the server. MVC demo. Localhost 44382 is the server. MVC demo is the name of the project, but I have not specified the name of the controller. I have not specified the name of the controller. Or the name of the area. Nothing. I'm just at the root of my project, which means, we don't have areas. Then this URL is going to invoke by default home controllers, and then the index action within the home controller, and then the index action within the home controller. That is because within the global.ax file, go to the global.axax file. Where is the global? Here it is. That is because within the global.ax file, you have a call to register routes. Where is the register route? This one. You have a call to register routes method. So if you go to definition on that, if you go to definition of that, definition, if you go to definition on that, so this is the route dot, so this is the route config.cs file, which is present in, which is present in app underscore start folder. So that is the file. So here we have register routes method. Here we have register routes method. Look at that, we don't specify the name of the controller. Go back to the browser. Look at that, we don't specify the name of the controller and the name of the action method. Then it is going to use the, then it is going to use the home controller and index method, index action method. Okay, so it should try to navigate. So it should try to navigate to this controller. Look at what is going to happen. So look at what is going to happen. Look at that. It is saying the site cannot be reached. Why? Reload it once again. What is going to happen to it? Okay, it is again saying this site cannot be reached. I need to check my connection. It is working. Then why it is not? So let's go to the Visual Studio and here just run this project, but it will show home index. So we don't want to see that. Instead of that, 44396. 44396. It should be 396. Okay, let's close this one and now navigate to it. So see what has happened. What is it is saying? It says multiple types were found. Multiple types were found that match the controller named home. Okay. multiple types were found that match the controller named home. This can happen if the route that services this request controller actions ID does not specify namespace to search for a controller that matches the request. So if you remember, we added home controller. So if you remember, we have a added home controller, to all our areas. Admin employer, and there is a home controller in the main area. As well. So, so, so that is what it is going. So that is what. So that is what it is saying. So that is what it is saying. There are multiple types that were, named home. Okay. In all these, areas, so it has a confusion. Which one to pick? Okay. So now to fix this error. All we need to do is look at this route dot map route function, means go to your Visual Studio, look at this route dot map. Where is the route? Dot map function. This function has got several overloaded version. So I'm going to use an overloaded version where we can specify the namespace as well. So I'm going to use an overloaded version where we can specify the namespace as well. Look at that. There is one overloaded version we can specify namespace, and look at that. The namespace, it is expecting the namespace in the form of string array. Okay. So we need to specify the namespace. So namespace is name spaces that is a name parameter. So you have to use the name of the parameter, and then we need to pass a string array. The namespace name as a string, or I can simply say new. And then pass the namespace name. Now this home controller Now this home controller, now this home controller in the main area, so within this controller folder in the main area, and that is the home controller. That is the home controller. And what is the namespace within which this home controller is present? MVC dot controller. So copy this and go back to route. So pick up that and then pass it here. So string array or I can simply say new. And pass the namespace here. Okay. So we specified the namespaces, that is named parameter. So and then we need to pass a string array. This is the string array. Instead of string, I just simply specified the subscript bracket, or I can say simply new, and then pass the namespaces. The namespace that we have got from home controller in the main area, as we have showed you that. Okay. So let's go ahead. And build this. So again, build this. You can simply press Control B, but we will go here. Build solution. Build this. Build succeeded. Now let's refresh this and see what is going to happen. So go to browser and refresh this and see what is going to happen. Look at that, we are on the main area home page. Okay, but we don't need these header and footer. So what to do for that? Go to the layout, HTML layout. Here. And replace this whole coding with a, go to the notepad, copy this and paste it here. Control A and paste it. Save and go back to browser and refresh once again. Refresh it. Okay. So we are on the main area home page. Now if I give same thing like this employee, now if I give something like this employee, so employee. Now if I give something like employee, something like this employee, now that means we want to go to the employee area. So within the employee area, so this is the employee area folder. So go back to the Visual Studio and within the employer folder. So this is the employer folder. So this is the employer area folder. And within that, we have employee AreaRegistrations.cs file. So this route will this route will be used, and notice that here within this register area, function, we are specifying the action method. We are specifying the action method name, and default is index. Action method name default is index action. So if we don't specify an action method, name, then it is going to invoke index action. But then here we are not specifying the controller name as well. But here we are not specifying the controller name as well. So if I don't specify the controller name, we have not specified a default for the controller. We are not specifying the if I don't specify the controller name, we have not specified a default for the controller. So when I am going to visit this, we get an error. That is resource cannot be found, and that is understandable because you did not tell me which controller you want. So by default, it throws that error. And to fix that, all you need to do is specify the default controller for employee area. So what is that going to be? That is going to be home. So go to Visual Studio and specify the controller. And that is going to be home controller. We have specified the controller named as home within the employee area registrations.cs file. Let's build our solution once again. Build succeeded. Let refresh this once again. Refresh this view, and now we should be able to navigate to index action within the home controller of employee area. Guys, I will be landed to my employee area homepage. But in case if you find an error like this, compilation error. An error has occurred during the compilation of a resource to service the request. Okay. This error may come because of this optimization. You need to install this optimization by running this install package. And how to run this? Copy this command and go to your Visual Studio, open the tools, where is the NuGet package manager? Here, and open this one and then paste it here and click that. Because I have already this installed, so I am not going to get that error. Okay, this is for you guys, those who would get this error, if they get that error. Okay, so I'm going to refresh it and check it. So we should arrive at the index section of the home controller in employee area. So click that here. Look at that. So it worked as expected. All right. We are on the employee area homepage. But again, we don't want this application name, header and footer. So what we need to do that for that, copy this and go to the layout page of employee area folder. Where is the employee area folder? Here it is. And where is the layout? Here it is. Select all and paste it here. Save it. And go to browser once again and refresh it. So we landed to employee area homepage. So it works as expected. All right. Now let's provide some link. So I want to be able to look at that from the employee area. So what we need to do, let's provide some links. So I want to be able to look at that from the employee area. So at the moment we are in the home controller. So we are in the home controller and index section of employee area. That is employee area homepage. So okay, let's provide some links. So I want to be able to look at that from the employee area. So at the moment we are in the home controller. We are in the home controller and index action of employee area. So that is employee. So that is employee area homepage. Now let's say from this I want to go back to the home page, the main home page. So the main home page. So we want to provide a link there. So let's go back to employee area that is index view in employee area, that is index view. So let's provide a link, and to provide links we can use action link HTML helper. Let's actually create a table. Let's create a table row, create a table. Let's actually create a table. Let's create a table row. Let's actually set border for the table. Border for the table. Okay. Border for the table. Table of 1. And then let's include a TD here. So let's include links. Table row. And let's include a TD here. So let's include links for all the areas. Okay, so we have 4 TDs. So we have 4 TDs. I mean TRs. We have 4 TRs. Let's have another TR. Let's say we want a text which says maybe something like links. Now we want to have a link to the main area. So how do we do that? HTML.action link. HTML.action link, and I want to go to the main area home page. This is the first parameter. Is the link text. This is the first parameter. Is the link text. So we are going to use this overloaded function. So first parameter, link text, main area home page. And then obviously which action method you want to invoke. I want to invoke the index action. within a controller. So I'm going to use this overloaded version. So within which controller you want to invoke the index action? Within the home controller. Index. I want to invoke the index action. Within which controller you want to invoke the index action? Within the home controller. Within the home controller. Okay. So now let's do the same thing here. So let's do the same thing here. So I want to go to employee area homepage. Employee area homepage. And again, within employee area, we want to invoke the index action of the home controller. Index action method of the home controller. Okay. So let's do that for employer as well. And similarly, let's do it for admin area. So let's build this. So let's build this. And let's refresh this view. And let's refresh this view. So we should get the links. Okay. So we are currently on the index action of the home controller of employee area. Now I want to go to main area homepage. I want to go to main area homepage. Now look at that is going, what is going to happen. I am still in employee area homepage. Okay, so I did not go to the main area homepage. Since we are in a different area, now if you want to go to a different area, then you will have to specify the area name as well when we build these action links. So from the employee area, I want go to main area. So from the employee area, I want to go to main area. And if you look at our structure, the main area within our project, does not have any name. Okay, does not have any name. Okay, so we simply specify a blank string as the name of the area. Okay, a blank string name, a blank string as the name of the area. Okay, so this link action, so this link action, so this action link, so this action is again this action link HTML helper. It has got several overloaded function. It has got several overloaded version. I'm going to use an overloaded version where we can specify area name as anonymous type. Area name, area name as anonymous type. I'm going to use an overloaded version where we can specify area name as anonymous type. So new area. So I'm going to give an empty string. So new new area. So I'm going to give an empty string. So that takes us back to the main area homepage. And then there is another parameter that we need to pass. There is another parameter we need to pass. Null. We need to pass null. So let's copy that. And then if I want to go to employee homepage, and then I want to go to employee homepage, then the name of the area is employee. Then the name of the area is employee. Let's copy this entire stuff and then do the same thing to the other links. So here the area name is going to be employer. And here the area name is going to be admin. Okay. So let's take this HTML and put it in other views as well. So copy this and put it in other views as well. We have this in employee area homepage. So go to the admin, paste it here, go to the employer, paste it here, and go to the main area, index.cs HTML. Okay. All right, let's save. All right, let's save everything. Let's save everything. Let's build the solution. How to build the solution? You can use press Control B, or you can go from here also. Build solution, build succeeded. And let's go. Let's click on this one. Okay. Let's go to the browser and let's click this one. Right. Currently we are on the employee area homepage. Now I'm going to click the main area homepage. So we should now go to the main area homepage. Okay. Now we are in the main area homepage. Look at that. Now we are on main area homepage. Let's try to go to employer area homepage. Where is the employer area homepage? So we reach to the employer area homepage, but here once again we got this header and footer. To remove this, you need to do what? Copy this stuff of coding and go to the layout CHTML of employer area folder. Where is the? Here it is. Control A and paste it here. Save it. And you also need to go to admins. I think admins. Layout. Control A and save. Now refresh it. Okay, now go to the admin area homepage. So we are now able to navigate between areas. All right. So in short, areas are introduced in ASP.NET MVC 2 or 5 that allow us to break down a large complex application into several small sections called areas, and each area can have its own models, views, controllers, and routes. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.